We know. We know. We know. Folks, we're going to open the public hearing for the question 1 on the ballot to see if the town will utilize $65,000 from the transfer station reserve account for the first of a 5-year purchase payment on a new roll-off truck for the transportation of waste. I will open the floor. Any questions on the ballot question? Yes, sir.
What's the issue with the waste going out? Who hauls it out?
We're currently contracted with Conway Incinerator. January 31st, we received an email that the trucking from, we're currently being charged $3.20 a ton, or $3.20 a trip to either Maine or Carberry, not Carberry, and it was $3.20 a trip. They sent us an email January 31st saying that they were going to charge us $7.50. I called Kathy. She said, okay, the lowest I can go is $700. So we're like, ooh, okay. So that's still more than double what we're paying per trip. So we are considering the truck because trucking itself is going to be $100,000 a year plus on top of our tonnage. So we reached out, asked, was a CIA, and they came back with it's $275 a trip, but they're hauling it to Naples, and instead of $72 a ton for the tonnage, it's $170 a ton. They go to Naples, and that's the drop yard there is Casella. So our tonnage more than doubled. We dropped 70 bucks on the truck. So which way do we go? I will say this in consideration of the having the truck, the town-owned truck is the transfer station intake is about averages $60,000 a year. So for the new truck, all the containers the ROI on this is 4 years, and everything's paid for. So we could be looking at the savings in totality after a 4-year ROI. We're not having to raise and appropriate $100,000 for trucking. With the truck, we're asking for another public works employee. And the reason for that is that gives us 4 bodies able bodies that can run that truck to go to Maine, to Carberry, and we can still maintain our pricing for tonnage and not have to pay $170 a ton. And that's whether it's demo or household, it doesn't matter, it's the same. So we're still saving money. On the warrant, there's an article for the creation of that public works employee position. In total is $71,000. That's with taxes, the whole package. Salary, I believe, is 50 or 51, something to that effect. So just think about that. Instead of raising and appropriating $100,000 just for trucking, we're saving $30,000 hiring another employee just in the trucking aspect. But then we have control. There is no contractual problems that we're going to run into of just what's happening now. Well, we're going to more than double your trucking, and they've been very gracious to this point. I will say that we got that email in January. It was January 31st, and they have not hiked it yet. But I'm sorry.
Do we own the dumpsters?
Yes, we do. Yes. So 2 compactors and 3 open tops, correct? Or 2 open tops.
So we own all of it.
Yeah, they've already been purchased. Yes. Yep. So overall, we should be set. Yes, sir.
So how many loads do you dump a week, or how many miles is this going?
You're looking at round trip, 120 miles, either way we go. Eco, Maine, Portland, Mount Carberry, Berlin, New Hampshire.
So how many trips do they have?
We had 5 cans hauled off last week. So,
What the problem is right now is, if we had our own truck, we don't have to call it in. Just the page where the can is full, we can go up to the can, butt it off, go bring it take it back. Now we have to wait, so Saturday, Sunday, the cans are full. And then Wednesday, we're hoping that they get all the cans empty, to get it back, to go again. So in my mind, just do a quick calculation, that's like $37,000 a year. Truck's still gotta be running into the 4 or 5 year period.
it's a brand new truck.
It's a brand new truck, it's only running, that's all it's doing.
Yeah, it's brand new.
Right.
So I'd like to think 120,000 on a big truck, that's pretty low mileage. You know, your big trucks, there's 1,000,000-mile trucks.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we got plow trucks that are 400,000.
We got, what is it, right? Volvo, probably slow, all of that. 24 years.
The good thing is it's just a roll-off truck. So it's not being utilized to plow the roads or haul dirt or anything. Its sole purpose is for the transfer station.
But in addition to truck and driver, you've still got fuel, maintenance, all that stuff.
Yes, sir.
On 40,000.
Yes, sir. No other questions?
I will tell.
Yes.
Recently, I got to have, guys go down there on the weekends when they're not working. Guys, new drivers that we have. They're just over there. My $700 deal with old canister on there, because it's back in, it took off, it broke it. We got cold, so it's, get our own driver. You would have to deal. There are drivers nowadays.
Just like everywhere, it's hard to find anything. You gotta find somebody to take it.
What's that? But see, being a town, if we hire a driver, that driver will take care of that truck, the town will take care of, maintain that truck. It's not gonna be 15 drivers driving that truck. Right now, we got myself, we got Buddy, we got Rick Sawyer. Pat, we got 4 drivers. Drive that truck.
I want to put this out there though, okay? That 4th name that was put out there, he currently works at the transfer station Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday. So I would be a little angry if the expectation was that that gentleman had to haul cans Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday for the town. That's unrealistic. So,
How many days, so it's like, you haul, how many things this week?
we've shipped out 5.
Once a day and a half, maybe?
Yep.
Our biggest issue right now is if we guys, fully, renewing and all that,
Oh,
campgrounds.
Yep.
They come in 3, 4, 5 times.
yeah, that's picking up. There's definitely, we have a seasonal transfer station employee, so that we have 3 people there. And it's due to the very large increase from roughly May just through September. It's average, we're doing 5 cans a week. If you pull our Maine, just pull our trucking reports, it's an average year-round 5 per week. There are sometimes if it's the holiday weekend, 4th of July, things like that, and the campgrounds are slammed, we'll send out 6 cans in 1 week. And then especially springtime when everybody's doing the winter cleanup and kind of defunking their yard, that we get a lot done too. So
The campground, they pay more if they come in 5 days.
no,
5 times?
No.
No, it's just like a household, that's some of the household trash.
yes,
People coming from out of state, down.
Could reflect on the taxes, right?
yeah, they're charged commercially. Yes.
Yeah, no, I see that, but I just, like, yeah, it's a business in town, I'm not like, I don't see campgrounds, brings people in town. If they're all this $5 a week per day, like you said, that's trash, that's not up to town.
It is.
Yeah, it is coming from town.
Well, that's just it. They're charged commercially for taxes. So, they're paying their share.
Yeah.
So it's not a freebie for them. So, yep. Yes, sir.
So the additional employee, the public works employee, and this will only be part-time. Rest of the time you'd be working for the highway department.
Yep. The transfer station falls under the Public Works Department. So, yes,
So we were saying earlier that they would be working at the transfer station on those 3 days. doing
No.
sorting.
Nope.
That's not part of it.
Correct. No.
That would be
Public Works.
roads and-
Yep. Whatever the Public Works Director. Yep. Yes,
You
sir.
hire somebody, you put the job description as transfer employee. If you hire somebody, that's what they think they're doing. But in public works, like that drive a truck. He's not gonna have that job. It's not gonna nowadays say, well, I'm gonna drive a truck. So show what they.
You're gonna be looking for the transfer.
No. No, he can be a driver.
Hopefully we won't have to use it.
Correct. He does very well filling in at Public Works anytime they need him.
So you said 5 years for the truck to go?
Yep. Yep.
What's that? 300,000?
225. Yeah, 225,032, I believe is the number on the truck total. No buyout, it's straight. So actually, when you pull your ballot, it's broken down on the ballot for what the payments are. And we don't have to raise and appropriate that money. That's the golden kind of piece to this, is the transfer station intake is 60,000 a year revenue. So there is no raise and appropriate for this. This is a 4-year ROI. 4 years, $240,000. We've paid for the truck, we've paid for the cans, and we don't have to, well, you'll see the savings just in the transfer station budget alone Because we're gonna be able to drop off $100,000, raise and appropriate for the transfer station that we would be marked as trucking. We don't have that. You're gonna see the change in if the taxpayers vote for the fourth employee, you'll see that in the payroll article. So there is an offset, but still it's a $30,000 offset right there. Just in the trucking, that's this year. If it goes up next year, having the control and not being beholden to a contract that they can say, we're gonna up the rate midstream, what do we do now? And I'm grateful that Conway Incinerator has not, billed us at the 700 per trip. I very appreciative of that. So.
Well, they know what a budget year is, so I'm sure that took that into consideration.
Kathy's good people.
Yeah.
Anything else, folks? Yes,
Did we shop around on the truck? Just one truck.
that's one truck.
Shop around. Other
Well,
people.
my question to allude to yours, okay? Do we want to buy a $100,000 10-year-old truck that has had 40 different drivers in it, beating the wheels off it, not being maintained, and then we take on that maintenance and upkeep?
I'm not disagreeing.
No. Well, this one actually presented itself rather nicely. It was ordered last year and the company that ordered it backed out. So they offered it for that same price.
But we don't know if there's one out there that's cheaper.
You got a spec sheet on it?
Yes, we have the spec sheet. Yep. She's heavy. She's got 40s. Yes. I did not shop around, Robin, to the different manufacturers of the roll-off trucks. Most of them, you have to order the truck and then wait for them to come in. This one just actually happened to present itself at a very kind of opportune time. It was short notice. That's why it's on the ballot. We didn't know if actually we were contacted about the truck, the offer on the truck, 6 days after we went to print with the warrant. If they'd have caught us before that, we could have done an article in the warrant for this. But we have to make a decision as a town before the July 1st.
Right.
Whether we're going to continue with a contract or take care of it ourselves and not have to worry about contracts changing when they feel like it. So, but no, I did not shop around. Most of your big truck places, you order a truck.
Do you know how long the wait time is if we were in the truck?
Just to get a six-wheel dump truck, lead time is 10 months. And that's just on a six-wheel. So twin screw trucks, I mean, your regular, over-the-road tractors, things like that, you probably roll into a dealership and roll off and run in pretty quick. But your specialty trucks, most of them you have to order. So.
Next year, so 350, 370. Yes, we know.
Deal with all that. Yeah.
I've been looking at trucks for 3 years, and I know this.
Just say,
We bought
we
the same.
don't know.
We bought a car for the Western Star 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, about 189, I think it was. 190. Same truck we're buying today is almost 300,000.
Right.
2 years.
But a house, $250,000 5 years ago, like $150,000, that's the market.
Yeah, we told her to truck for the six-wheeler. So I don't know, clean it up.
And then if you don't get this truck, then the order was for 2 or 3 years. And then by Vegas,
Ma'am, you had your hand up?
No, I
Okay.
if you get online, you look at things, whole lot of trucks, dump trucks, excavators, whatever. Just see how they're going. They're not cheap.
We don't. That's what I'm saying. You can't
We don't-
No, agreed. Agreed. We can never guarantee pricing. We can never guarantee, just like you can't guarantee that the market drops.
Exactly.
But, and this is the biggest problem that we're having though, is how do we get ahead and make sure that we are covering the town the best way that we can from the what ifs? And that's extremely difficult.
That's almost impossible.
And
I don't disagree.
no, I'm just, it's,
I'm just saying, stating the fact that it is going to be, we don't know.
Yep.
We don't,
I will say this.
and I just wonder why we didn't shop around.
Short amount of time. January 31st, we were notified that the trucking was going up. We got our pricing from CIA in March. I think it was March. I have the emails in March. April, I went to print. July 1st is coming really fast. So we need to make the decision quickly. And I don't want to say hastily because it's not in haste. But I would much rather have the control of what we're going to pay every year. Because the only way that we're going to increase, hypothetical folks, taxpayers say, yeah, buy the truck. Taxpayers say, all right, add a fourth body. Perfect. Okay. The only way there's going to be an increase in that is if there's a pay raise and if the tonnage price goes up, which it did in April from 70 a ton to 72 a ton at Carberry. It was 81 a ton to 85 a ton at Eco Maine. So they went up and but that's a little bit, not the 72 to 170 per ton. So we have a much greater control on price increase because we don't have to worry about the contractor saying, hey, it's in the contract, I can go up. So as of next month, instead of 275, it's 350. Well, for us, that's very difficult. One, how do we budget for it? And two, if it happens like in this instance, mid-year, we're contractual. So it went to 700. Now we have a shortfall in that bottom line budget for the transfer station. Guess what, folks? We're going to go out with a supplemental tax bill because anything we take out of it's statutory requirement to pay a municipal bill. So the money will come out of general fund. We have to raise and appropriate that money and put it back in the general fund. So therefore, we hold a special town meeting. We need X amount of dollars to cover this cost. Here's your supplemental tax bill. So having the control is better for the town than leaving it in a contractor's hand to change pricing when they feel fit. Our control is pay raise of the employee, and that we do not have to raise and appropriate minimum $100,000 in a year's time for trucking, paying a company to do our trucking for us. We have a full-time employee, which means we can get more done around the town. 100%. Yes, ma'am. Do we have any in surplus? You know, I can't answer that right now, but if you show up next door, June 5th at 5:30, the auditor is going to be there for our audit brief. We're finally getting to that point. It's been a long time coming.
Reason I asked that question, you know, talking about supplemental tax.
Yep.
It may be able to surplus. Supplemental.
It very well could, if the taxpayers decide to go that way. But the taxpayers have the ability to say, no,
Right.
we don't want it. And not only that, but if we have our own truck, we don't need to go with supplemental. There's going to be no reason for it. The money's already raised and appropriated, and we're set. We really are. I mean, there are a couple of different ways you can look at the offset of the monies for this. Transfer station average 60,000 in revenue per year. So it's 71,000 whole package for a full-time employee. So you're raising and appropriating $11,000, right? So you take the 11,000, drop the $100,000 raise and appropriate out of the transfer station budget. So there's $89,000 right there that is proof positive that we're going to have some type of savings for the taxpayers. We don't have to raise and appropriate that much money. And the numbers are getting better. I mean, really they are. So
Basically, the transfer station is paying for this expense.
100%.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's not gonna affect the taxes,
No,
except for the fact that it's gonna lower the budget in the transfer station because the trucking's gonna be gone.
I just was concerned when you said supplemental tax.
that can be that could happen.
It could have.
That very well could happen. But we try to, honestly, what do I think the probability of that is? Pretty low, but I can't rule it out either. You've been around a couple days. You've seen some crazy things happen in a municipal budget. No crystal ball, but I'd rather not have that liability or even the probability of it. Having more control is always better. We don't have to rely on somebody else. Yes, sir.
And yeah, even if the price goes up, that eco maintenance, take it out or sell it to that. You don't have to take it, but
Correct.
it's incinerate out once it's taken.
Correct. Yeah, Carberry's 72 a ton and Eco Maine is 85. Yeah, 85. Yeah, that's the recycling.
That's something we.
Right.
But as far as trucking, we can control that.
Yes. Well, we can pick and choose too.
We can pick and choose.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because that's contractual as well. Your drop-off points are contractual. Eco Maine is due this September, I believe, September or October, for that contract. Carberry will come down to us contacting them and signing up, providing our transporter and transfer station licensing to them, and start rolling the truck. Casella, I believe, has 3 drop points in southern Maine. The closest one is Naples, one in Westbrook, and one in Scarborough, I believe.
It must just be like a transfer.
It is. It is. Yep. They truck it out of there. Take it down to the train. Take it down to the railhead. Yep. Yeah, the Naples one goes to the trailhead, the railhead. Yep.
That's what we vote, it's just on how we're gonna pay for it.
No, the vote would be to purchase the truck and that the monies would come out of the transfer station reserve account. Which estimate, and again, I don't have the solid numbers from the auditor. That's why June 5th is going to be a really good day. Estimate, after the container purchases, we could probably pay for the truck
said?
No, it doubled. It went from 320 to 700. Yeah. Yes, sir.
So would it be correct to assume that because this truck's been sitting on a lot of somebody's hands on order, that its cost is less than if we had to go there and buy one right now?
Yeah, I would say only because the dealership is gonna wanna unload the truck. Because they're sitting on that money.
Go on the block, if they're one pound, there to show slow stuff.
Right.
You go for a big truck, if they don't have what you want, as these guys are saying, you're like a year out, and they could either come back and say it's another 30 grand. But on top of that, this component's going out.
Yeah, they'll wanna,
Cost them, yes.
yeah, they'll wanna unload it quick instead of sitting
And
on it.
I dealt with salesman, good question, Scott. And he's kind of holding it back, focus. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not trying to say it.
Yes, sir.
I came in late, so apologies, but there's such a big financial. Why are we?
I'm sorry?
June fifth, it says it's a big day where we can find out the financial situation. How come we're holding the vote today?
We're not holding a vote today. Today's a public hearing.
Oh,
This is a statutory requirement to have a public hearing prior to a vote, 10 days to be exact. June 5th is our audit results. The auditor is going to come in and give us our audit brief, which has not happened for, this will be year 4. Yeah, year 4, right? Yeah, year 4, because we didn't get it. Yeah, this will be 4, because right after you, yeah. So 4 years we haven't gotten an audit brief. So that is pretty big that we're finally at that point of getting our financial status for the town of Brownfield finalized, brought back up to date, and we can move forward. So yes, but the vote is June 10th on this particular topic, and it's ballot question, along with, of course, the regular ballot for seats. And then June 11th is the town meeting for open vote as well. Yep. Anything else, folks? No? I'm sorry?
School board meeting.
Yep. All right, we'll adjourn it now so everybody can beat feet to Freiburg. Thank you. Y'all have a good night.